Hey everyone, welcome to the For the Creatives podcast. I'm your host, Elisha, and today we're joined by Brody from Manexo Media. In this episode, he'll share some of his journey from starting his business as a side hustle in uni and trying to balance entrepreneurship with life. Let's dive in. Brody, thanks for joining me today.
Thank you for having me.
I want to talk about some of your business and what you do in a moment, but first of all, what are you passionate about?
Yeah, definitely. I feel I have a few different areas that I'm really passionate about and obviously put my attention towards. Definitely helping businesses or just entrepreneurship in general. That whole field has been such a massive sort of interest bubble for me since growing up.
Yeah.
I think I've always wanted to start my own business or work for myself in that sort of way. And I just get so excited, like being able to be at a place like this, Tropical Innovation Festival, where you're literally surrounded by so many different business owners at different levels.
Yeah. That's awesome.
On the other side, also just like, again, personal development and I'd say adventure and experiences, really trying to create many of those experiences as possible.
Yeah, that's great. Sounds very much like an entrepreneurial spirit.
Oh, thank you.
So what do you do? So you have a business called Manexo Media?
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah.
And what is that?
Yeah, so Manexo Media, I started in my last semester of university in 2018. And it really was just like out of not wanting to move away from Cairns. So I grew up in Cairns and there isn't a lot of marketing jobs up here. So I was like, rather than having to move to a big city, I saw there was an opportunity. I was already working with YEP and some other companies really doing digital marketing support, helping business owners already. And they were asking for these sorts of services. So that's how I got into it.
Yeah.
But really what we do these days is we help businesses to strengthen their brand online and to generate more customers.
Yeah.
That's the simplest way to put it.
Yeah, that's awesome. I'll touch on that in a moment, but I have a question for you first.
Sure.
We're here at the Tropical Innovation Festival, and the focus is obviously innovation. So I have a wacky question that needs a bit of an innovative solution. So let's say you have a rhino and you need to transport the rhino to the top of a mountain. How do you do it?
Oh, very interesting question. I'm going to go off what my first thought was out of the straight of my head. And it was like a hot air balloon.
Oh.
I know.
Okay. I mean, yeah, that could work.
Totally outside, but
yeah,
that's exactly what I pictured.
Now I'm just imagining a rhino being transported in a hot air balloon.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Well, bringing it back to your business side of things, you know, whether it's a startup, a business owner, founder, being in the innovation ecosystem, you can wear a lot of different hats and do a lot of different things. And it can be so easy to burn out sometimes. It's so easy to struggle to find that work-life balance. Not a fan of that term, but work-life balance. How do you find balance amongst the different things that you do?
Yeah, definitely. Some weeks I don't, honestly.
Yeah.
Like even this week has been so hectic trying to juggle, obviously helping out with the Innovation Festival, client projects and things like that. And then other sort of projects that I try to work on as well.
Yeah.
I'm still figuring it out myself, like trying to get that balance down. I think it comes and goes, but really checking in with yourself and understanding, having the self-awareness to know when you're reaching those points.
Yeah.
I think. Again, looking at like the conversation that we just had before, this was like, you've had 4 hours sleep. Like I've probably had like 5 hours sleep as well. And we're going into this massive day.
Yeah.
There's times in your weeks or like year where you're going to have those periods. And I think really checking in with yourself, understanding that you need some breaks and having some sort of self-care routine down has really worked for me.
Yeah, that's awesome. What would you say is one of the tools in your sort of self-care kit?
Yeah. I would say it's been one that I've tried to develop for a long time, but getting into meditation.
Yeah.
And really like even just trying to find other ways to sort of make it part of my routine as well.
Yeah.
Like whether it's being in the shower and trying to just like relax and chill out there, or again, just laying in my bed.
Yeah.
Other forms of meditation as well, listening to music. That's helped so much just to have that downtime. Because again, I think my brain's just always trying to think of something, or it's got like in the back of my head something I need to finish or something to work on. So trying to just switch off through things like music or relaxation techniques like that.
Yeah, that's awesome. And with Manexo Media, when did you start that? Like how long have you been running it?
Yeah, so I started it in 2018. in my last semester of university. And at the time, it was just like a part-time sort of gig. Like I had no idea what I was doing.
Yeah.
I was working with Kate and Tara through Launch YAP at the
Shout
time.
out to Kate and Tara.
Shout out to Kate and Tara. Yep. So again, working with them was obviously incredible because I got to meet a lot of business owners through camp and obviously work directly with Tara, who was the entrepreneurship facilitator for our region at the time. And really it was out of that role that I started to just build it up again from a part-time sort of side hustle gig, even though I hate that term, but building it up from there and going through those different phases of like learning like what customers actually needed, trying to build out a team, things like that.
Yeah. What customers actually need. It's so annoying that we actually have to build things for other people. Sorry, I'm going to rephrase that. This is my filters are gone. You know, sometimes when you have a great idea for a product or a service and you're like, oh, this would be so cool.
Yeah.
But no one wants it. You actually have to build things or create things that people are going to use or want.
Yeah. And sometimes it's what you want, but you got to go find people that want it.
You can make it your hobby.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. So what would you say is the current challenge that you're facing at the moment with your business development?
Yeah, I would say with business, you would say, or personal? Like
personal or business?
Yeah, I think at the moment it's, again, for business, I would say it's learning to be a better leader, I would say.
Yeah.
And really fostering those leadership skills. I heard someone speak today and they said, one of the founders in the session, they said, leadership skills aren't taught in school or anything like that. It's still very much like a dark arts, they said. I think it was Luke and Nia at the breakfast this morning. And again, so true. Like I didn't really have any leadership roles coming through school and then stepping out and trying to start a business or find people to join your team. That's still it can kind of feel uncomfortable at times. Yeah. And I think even myself, I don't always see myself as like being the perfect role model to try and lead other people. And I think it's understanding that you can have that vulnerability to not be perfect and to step out. So that's something I'm still trying to work on.
Yeah, that's awesome. Thanks for sharing that.
Oh, that's okay.
I know like quite a while ago, there used to be this concept of the bulletproof leader. It was like if you're a CEO or someone who's a leader or someone who's heading, something, you couldn't have any weaknesses or vulnerabilities. Or if you did, you couldn't show them to people.
Exactly right. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think we connect so much deeper with people, whether it's team, within different levels and different boundaries. But when we're able to be vulnerable, recognize we're not perfect, and it makes us a stronger and better leader.
100%.
So what is your big picture? Like, where would you, I'm like, there's all these like cliche terms. I mean, maybe not cliche, they have their place, but like, where do you see yourself in 5 years? I don't know where I see myself in a year, to be honest.
Yeah.
But what is your sort of big picture, your vision? Like, where would you like to be in the future?
Yeah, I totally agree with you. Like, even just looking ahead, like the exact specifics of what I'm going to be doing in the next couple of years. I think, again, tying it back into the things that I'm passionate about, I'd love to just continue in some form being able to work in growing businesses and things like that.
Yeah.
Obviously, marketing ties into that a lot, but also for myself, just that journey of self-development and being able to experience as much as possible, go on as many adventures as possible. So trying to find that balance between like having this really successful career in business and also balancing it with trying to experience as much as possible, like all the great things that we have around the world to do.
Yeah. Awesome. So you're obviously very entrepreneurial, very interested in innovation. Did you have like a particular role model growing up or anyone who sort of really helped sort of stir that fire before you started working with Yep?
Yeah, I think one of the earliest sort of mentors that I sort of looked up to was definitely like Richard Branson.
Yeah.
Like obviously he's like the archetype of an entrepreneur, but I think I remember I must have been in like grade 10 or 11 and watching like a day in the life video of him. And I was like, oh snap, this is like so exciting, like what he was doing. And then obviously the stories behind how he started Virgin, how he expanded, that sort of stuff. That's really stood out to me. And then also, again, tying it back into someone personal, like my mum has always been someone that's like trying to start some sort of business. And trying to foster that entrepreneurial spirit. Yeah. She's a teacher for high schools. So she's always like pushed me to try and do something outside of the box or believed in me to try and start something if I had a great idea or something like that.
That's so good.
If I had a good idea, she always tried to push me to go do it.
So I mentioned before how, as founders and innovators and people in the innovation ecosystem, specifically anyway, we can be wearing a lot of hats and doing a lot of different roles depending on what stage of our business we're at. But I think there's this one thing that we're usually really good at, or this, we have like one or two key strengths, which I like to call our superpower. What would you say your superpower is?
Oh, that's a really good one. I think over the past couple of years, I've tried to tap into this more and better understand what my superpowers are. And I think at times I didn't really understand what those might be. But I think one that's really come up in the past year for me has been like empathy. I feel like really being able to understand and connect with other people and understand like how they're feeling at times. I've just noticed that like even with my friends or again, people that I'm working with, I'm able to connect with them a lot faster or understand their points of views where other people might not be able to see that. So I feel like that might be one.
Yeah, that's awesome. Empathy. Gary Vaynerchuk, I'm assuming you know Gary V. Gary Vaynerchuk. He does such a good at branding and marketing himself and putting his name out there that whenever I think of empathy now, I think of him.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because he's had such a massive focus on talking about empathy in recent years. But do you follow much of his stuff? Or?
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah. I haven't watched his stuff in like a long time, but obviously massive name in the digital marketing space. Yeah.
And is coming to Australia soon in a few months or 2 months.
Are you going to see it?
No, I saw him a few years back.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, well, I'm going to have a rapid fire round. So I'll have 3 questions.
Yeah, perfect.
And just, spit out your answers. So what's one tech tool that you can't live without?
Tech tool I can't live without. Spotify.
Who is someone you'd love to sit down and have coffee with?
I should answer this fast.
Richard Branson?
Oh, yeah. We'll go Richard Branson. Yeah.
If you had an extra hour every day, how would you use it?
Oh, mate, I'd probably, you know what? I'd say I'd probably be working, but I reckon I'd have to actually take some more self-care.
Yeah, nice. That's actually been the answer for a couple of people.
Yeah.
So thanks for coming on and sharing a brief bit about what you do and where you're going. As we wrap up, I have a few questions around the Tropical Innovation Festival.
Of course, yeah, let's go.
So if you were to finish the sentence, Tropical Innovation Festival is, what would you say?
I would say Tropical Innovation Festival is like the Coachella or Tomorrowland of the entrepreneurial world in Australia.
Wow, that's a good soundbite.
Thank you.
What makes the Tropical Innovation Festival different?
I would say what makes it different is how spontaneous everything is. And I know a lot of the times that can lead to a lot of hiccups in the program, but I think it also sparks a lot of magic. Like the fact that we just met literally outside the other day, grabbing a coffee, and now we're here sitting down and connecting over so much already.
Yeah.
That's what's so great about it.
It has a special place, this event. This is the second time I've been. It has a special place with me. I really like it.
Yeah. What do you like about it so much? Not to put it back on you, obviously, in your own podcast.
It's good. I've said this quite a few times to a few people. I love just how everyone's so supportive. Like when you start a conversation, most people that I've met are willing to see how they can help you or how you can help them and have that sort of mutual benefit. And they're not just trying to one-up you or they're not just trying to show off how good apparently they are. Yeah.
I love that. Yeah. That's put you down or anything like that.
Yeah.
Everyone just wants to see each other win.
Well, thanks for coming on.
Anytime, Elijah. Thank you, man.
And if people want to reach out or find more about what you do, where can they go?
Awesome. Yeah, you guys can connect with me on Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook, just Brody Oxenham if you type it in.
Yeah, awesome. And we'll put your details in the description as well.
Fantastic. Thanks for having me on.
Thanks for coming on. Thanks for tuning into today's episode. I hope you enjoyed it. If you're curious to learn more about Broden or to connect with him, check out the links in our episode description. Until next time, keep creating, keep innovating, and see you in the next episode. That's all for now.